Hey guys, it's RCK and I'm glad to have you back here again today, and we're going to be going over another national overview for another mod nation, of course. And this is going to be Asgard, Storm and Steel. So we have a kind of like Viking, Norse mythology inspired nation here. It's a lot of fun whenever we watch our series for our team game, of course. This is going to be played by Zan. Make sure to go and check out his YouTube channel, guys, for sure. He's a pretty good player. I play a lot of games with him. Um, I get along with him. We haven't had any problems, of course. So let's go ahead and jump into the nation here. So we have, let's talk about the national features. We have Titans, Osmeg, Valkyries, Storm Constructs, and Men. Legions of Sacred Constructs, Aesir Titans, Aesir. Um, Artillery, Strong Air, Some Death, Astral, Powerful Priest, which is good. We summon Sacred Constructs, which is quite interesting. There's a lot I have to talk about that. Advanced Fort starts with a Gringen Citadel. That is very, very nice because you have some very, very large, almost super combatant tier commanders that you have. Okay, that doesn't matter. So we'll go ahead and start here looking at the sites. We have the Valgrid. It gives you one astral and one death. And then we have the Bleskinir. I probably butchered that name there, but it gives you 25 resources and 2 air gems per turn. So altogether, you're only getting a total of 4 gems per turn. Not the best as far as sites go. So let's go ahead and start looking at the first unit here, being the Huskarl. Overall, I mean, decent unit. A javelin, a very hard-hitting axe, strength of 10. I mean, they're sieging for 1. Basic human size, protection of 11 is not that bad. Very, very cheap unit to have protection 11 while still being a pretty hard-hitting unit that also has a javelin. How many javelins? They have 2 javelins as well. Not too bad. Not too bad. They have a shield, a cap, and armor as well. So they're fairly armored, honestly. So quite interesting unit we have here. Next we have the Huskarl. Pretty good. Basically the same as the last one, just instead of an axe, this unit is going to be having a spear, of course. So it's okay. It's not great, but I'd probably take the axe unit over the spear unit, just because yeah, sure, spears are gonna get pierce damage, but I mean, when you're dealing such low damage anyway, is it really going to be able to stack up against 20? I mean, you might be dealing chip damage, whereas if you use the axe, pretty good chance you're going through some high prot at that point. I mean, it all really depends on what you're fighting. Then we have some herdmen. Definitely a little bit more expensive on the resource cost when you look at this unit. They don't have anything to throw. Higher protection though. So they do have a increase of 5 on the protection stat there. A little bit better attack skill and defense skill. Same hit point pool as a regular human. Not too bad. The Asirs, Herdman, Elite Guard. Okay. Just wanted to read that real fast. And next we have another Herdman, but this one looks like he has a broadsword. So 16 slash damage, not too bad. Still protection 16. Same stats as the last Herdman goes, just instead of a spear, you have a broadsword. Tough decision on which one you want, because the broadsword isn't dealing as much damage as the axe would if you would have took an axe instead, but still, I don't know if it's better than the spear at that point. Next, you have the Bog Minder, or Bog Minder. Goodness gracious. All this is basically an archer. But it is an archer that has Dark Vision 50, which could come in handy from time to time. Because, I mean, why wouldn't you not want Dark Vision 50 when you could possibly have it or not have it, you know? So it's okay. I mean, you are basically a fairly strong air nation. There's a lot of air spells that you can cast that can further increase your ability for your archers. On top of that, it helps fighting in caves, helps fighting in darkness, and whatever they've cast or things like that. So not too bad. And when this unit does come into contact, it's going to have an axe that's going to hit for 18 slash damage. Decent stats still, a little lower on the defense side. Still 8 protection, it's better than nothing. But the Hornbogi, which is like the, I assume short bow that they have, I mean, it's still range 40, which is better than most short bows being at range 35, and dealing 12 pierce damage. Now, this definitely could be something else. It might not be a short bow, it might be something like a long bow to them, but it looks like a short bow from the sprite there. So, pretty cool, pretty cool, I like it. Surprised to see it's a little bit more expensive on the gold side compared to the rest of the units that you have being 12 and 10. But yeah, other than that, we'll go on to the next unit. I want to go through these pretty fast. If you'll let me click on it. Sometimes with the mod thing, it it's a combination of lots and lots of mods. So sometimes it's a little slow sometimes. It seems like whenever we're doing the clicking on the nation, like when you're setting up a game, it never slows down. But once you're in the game, sometimes when you're clicking on nations on this screen here, that you notice it slow down. It won't let you click for a minute, but it's okay. And then you have the Vikinger here, or Viking. I don't know if the R is silent there at the end, kind of odd. 15 gold, 21 resources, 14 recruitment points, good, good. 16 protection, great. Magic resistance of 10, not great, but we can deal with it. Morale 15 is very, very nice. Above average stats here, not too bad. 1.5 siege strength, or 1.4 siege strength is really good. Encumbrance is kind of high at 6, but that's okay. I mean, it could definitely be much worse than that. But these guys also have sailing, they have pillager, they have far survival, mountain survival, and swimming, along with a 20 damage axe and a javelin. And there's also something that you do not see here that you'll only see when you're in enemy dominion. It gives you a tag that says whenever you're in the enemy dominion, it's actually going to let you produce gold. Each one of these units will produce you 2 gold. And then his actual upkeep cost is only 1 gold per turn. So, because when you take the yearly cost, divide it by 12, you'll have 1 gold per month. And since he will be giving you 2 gold per month in enemy dominion, so whenever he's fighting, if he's sitting in a castle that's on the border, let that dominion come over. He's going to be paying for himself and then some, okay? So, great unit here. I really, really like it. I think this would be a great frontline unit. Great to have on any of your borders. Great to be attacking with. They're going to be paying for themselves. Lots of good things here. In sailing, you can do some funny stuff in sailing. Definitely get some surprises on there. Next, you have the Leondrecca. Oh, goodness. Leondrecca. 16 gold, 25 resources, 16 recruitment points, good. Strength of 11, attack skill 12, defense skill 9, but he has a Danax dealing 23 slash damage. He definitely is a heavy hitter, guys, for you. Still low morale or magical resistance, but 18 protection is very, very nice. He has full chainmail and a half helmet. Too bad he doesn't have a shield, but with that two-handed weapon there, I think you'll be fine. He does have 16 morale, and he's a bodyguard unit, so not too bad, but he is very, very slow. Keep that in mind. Are all your units relatively slow? 10, 10, 12, they're kind of slow. Next, we have the Thromburi, and this can only be recruited in your capital. From what I was told, this is like a 2-for-1 unit. Like you buy this unit, and then technically you get 2 of them. So it's kind of interesting. 110 gold, very, very expensive. 76 resources, limited recruitment. Very, very expensive upkeep. Shock resistance, storm power, storm immunity, ambidextrous. They have like a pierce slash. I don't really know. I assume that's the spear that they have right here, dealing 27 magical damage. The Skegox is, I assume, to be the axe, being this 28 slash damage, and it looks like it also does a small area shock. And then they have lightning, which they have 3 ammunition of it. So, very, very interesting. It's like, and I assume this is like their artillery unit, what they were saying before, because this is a range 40 unit, and I don't think you want to come into contact with this. 19 protection, 15 strength, 12 attack skill. They're going to be hitting like trucks and tearing things apart. They all have magic weapons. They're going to be shooting lightning down. If you're putting up storm, they get even stronger. So lots of good stuff here. Very interesting. relatively high magical resistance, very high morale. So, pretty good, pretty good. And 40 HP. Didn't notice that before. 40 HP, okay. While also having 6 encumbrance. But they're slow. 8 map move. Pretty cool little unit you have there. Next, you have the Scout. Basic 25 gold Scout, 40 stealthy. He has dark vision. Okay. That's always good for your nation to come with the Scout. You have a Hearse, and this is going to be a sailing commander with 40 leadership. I mean, yeah, I mean, 40 leadership isn't that great, but what he's going to be used for is like raiding, small raiding parties that can just sail over the lake or whatever part of the water you're looking at and just do some raiding on the coast. This is what he's going to be good for. It's pretty cheap too. We have a Jarl. He's 110 gold, but he has 80 leadership. That's going to be definitely leading larger squads due to the fact that he's going to get morale bonus on them. And he is also going to have sailing. So if you're sending a large force over, this is not a raiding force at this point. This is a force meant to start taking castles. You would be sending these fellas over. Next you have a Godi, or Goad, I think. I don't know. But this is basically your level 1 priest. But 45 gold, okay. But he comes with 40 leadership, which I found pretty nice. Not too often you see, most of the level 1 priests that you see, they won't be this high in leadership. I mean, they might have 10 leadership. Some of them have 0. And but 40 is pretty good. Yes, he's not going to be able to give you a morale bonus, but he will be able to ferry troops back and forth. Priests are usually good depending on what you're using them for. I mean, you might have some here and there, and you just need to move some troops around, do some raiding, or not really do some raiding, do some anti-raiding, things like that. Maybe you had an event happen, you just had a priest in the province, so you decided to go take some troops over there. I don't know, different kinds of things you could, of course, use this for. But still, it's just a level 1 priest. Next, we have a Scald. This is 125 gold mage here, 13 hit points, 14 magical resistance, 0 protection. So make sure you keep these guys protected, okay? They are inspirational +1, but they only have 10 leadership, so kind of a waste for an inspirational tag there. 11 research, but they have a chance to random all these paths here. 100% chance, so always they're going to be a 3-path mage. They can either random air, water, earth, death, or nature. So you're very, very rare randoms where you end up getting like all 3 in one path, which would be very good if you can get all 3 in one path, and probably earth, death, nature, possibly water. I mean, you'll definitely easily be able to get 3 air in your other things, other mages that you make. So pretty interesting way here. I mean, some of them might not be worth anything. I mean, you have a bunch of level 1 mages or a bunch of level 1 paths here, and you might not find much of a use, but I mean, usually enough, you can still find a little bit of a use for those guys. Next, we have the Osmeg Jarl, and it's going to be a 225 gold unit with 40 leadership, but he's going to be an Air 2 mage with a priest level 1, researching for 9. I mean, he is definitely not going to be your research monkey, but possibly a nice, or he does have lightning too, but combat caster, as far as that go, he has storm power 2, storm immunity, shock resistance, lightning, so he has 3 ammunition, or 3, he can shoot lightning 3 times, but still relatively expensive. Not particularly much of a fan. I mean, yes, he does have magical leadership of 10 add on, which that will come in handy. I think that comes in handy. I can't remember which sacred you have as magical, but leadership 40 is kind of average for such an expensive unit. Yes, he's an Air 2 mage and a priest level 1, but come on, 80 at least. So not too much to talk about that. I'm trying to go through these relatively fast since we do have some other units I want to talk about on the battle map. We have the Valkyrie Husquarel, I think. I know it's definitely a Valkyrie. So this is a 425 gold unit, 18 resources, and only you can recruit 1 per turn. Protection of 12, magical resistance of 17, morale 14, leadership of 80, magical leadership of 20, undead leadership of 140. I think that's something we want to keep in mind there. And it's going to be an Air 2, Astral 1, Def 2. So very, very interesting, but it's such an expensive mage, and the reason for that is because it has summon allies, and I'll show you what those are in a few minutes. But you're able to summon your sacred units. So if they were really cheap, I mean that would be fairly broken if you could summon sacreds out of anywhere with just a very cheap mage. So, but I mean, paths are great. I think all the paths here are good. Probably could have gone. Well, I mean, you don't want to bring one of these guys into battle because someone can just magic duel you. So fairly dangerous the Astral one there, but the Air 2, Def 2 is very, very nice. I liked it. Oh, sorry. You do have flying, so you're not going to have to worry about taking a long time from getting from one place to another place. You have Glamour, Storm Power 3, very nice. Storm Immunity. And before we go and check the units on the map, I want to go through your last unit here at the Essir Thermayarl. Thermayarl? Something like that. 650 gold, 6 recruitment points. So this is going to take 2 turns out of your Citadel that you own. Protection 19, 65 hit points, size 5 unit, 20 strength, 12 attack skill, 22 defense skill without anything on them. Leadership 120, magical leadership 15, undead leadership is 180, and you will be getting a Air 3, Def 2, Holy 3 that has a chance to random 2 paths in either air, water, earth, astral, death, or nature, okay? So, strong possibility that you'll be having air 5s, death 4s, nature 2s will be good, earth 2s will be good, astral 2s, they'd be okay. Not as best, not as good as the other two. Water 2s would be okay, but definitely earth, nature 2s on this chassis having air and death already could be very, very powerful. These are like super combatants at that point. A very, very cool unit that you have here. So let's go ahead and look at the battle map, and we'll look at our other units. I was just messing around for a little while. I played for 27 turns, but I didn't really play much. I just threw these guys against indies without any equipment on them, and just summoned some troops to see them. So first off, well, actually, what we could do. Let's go into our research, and I'll show you. So here and in construction level 1, you have Stormforge. Einherjar. Is that Einherjar? It might be. Stormforge, Einherjar, Colossus. So two very, very unique things that you have here to this nation can only be cast by the Asir. The giants that you have requires 5 or more Einherjar to the province, or the spell will fail. Multiple casting a spell in the same province will waste the gems involved. So you can only do one of these per province, okay? So if you want to start making a lot of these Stormforge on here, you're going to have to spread out your giants. You have to spread out production in your castles, so you're able to do this multiple times a turn. And then you have the Colossus one, and this has to do with the Osmeg on here, which is a different unit. So we have our Valkyries here on Summon Allies. So every turn, each one of them will be making one Einherjar, possibly sometimes could be a Osmeg, and we'll look at those. So here are the Einherjar. 10 hit points, size 2, protection 0, 13 magical resistance, 18 morale, 13, 13, combat speed 13, sacred, amphibious, cold resistance, poison resistant, well, cold 15, poison resistance 25, undead, need not eat, ethereal, floating, berserker, spirit sight, storm immunity, ambidextrous. Lots of tags, so it's a Einherjar Ghost. Very, very, very cool unit here. You have a spectral axe and a spectral sword. And of course, you have they're magical weapons, so you don't need to take magical weapons on your bless. They're berserkers, pretty cool. Lots of really, really neat things going on with this unit here. This is just the ghost version. I mean, Spirit Sight 2 is always nice to have. And then so we cast the Stormforge spell, and that is going to give us the Stormforged of Asgard, but that's just because we did them in this province. So just the Stormforged. So 21 hit points, size 2, protection at 18, magic resistance of 13, morale of 18, basic or a little bit higher than average skills, sacred, poor amphibian, shock resistance, cold, poison, undead, berserker +2 instead +1, spirit sight, storm, power, overcharge, storm immunity, and you have 2 storm forge axes dealing 22 damage apiece, while also dealing some shock damage there, and they're still magical weapons. Now you lose your ethereal tag and you gain armor, but these guys are powerful. They remind me of the Abyssian sacreds at this point, but they have storm power and things like that. So really cool unit here. Next we're going to look over to the Osmeg. Now this is I would say like a half giant type unit here. Being size 3, 16 hit points, 0 protection still, but this is because it's a ghost, because it has ethereal. Pretty good stats as far as that goes. Now these guys are much rarer than your other Einhirs are, Berserker +1. I think every about 5 or 6 Einhir you might get one of these guys. So here is your Spectral Spear almost. I think so. So the slash pierce 27 magical damage. Then you have Spectral Lightning with a range of 40. You have 3 shots with it, and it has an AoE small shock effect. Pretty cool. Then next you have your Stormforge as Osmeg. I think are they called no, hold on. Yeah, Osmeg. So this turns these guys into tanks. Okay, 36 hit point, size 4 unit. So they actually do grow a size. Interesting. Protection of 21, magical resistance 14, morale of 19, attack skill 13. Defense skill is gonna drop a little bit just because they're slower. Combat speed 16. These guys are fast, surprisingly. Sacred and they're poor amphibious. They're poor amphibian, not amphibious anymore. Shock resistance, cold resistance, poison resistance, undead, berserker +2, storm power, overcharge, storm immunity, and they're going to have a lightning maul, storm forge maul, dealing 36 magical blunt damage. Okay, a link 3 weapon at that. So it's also going to have a lightning charge to it. It's an AoE 1, so it's going to hit the whole square with 5 lightning damage that is magical. And then, so lots of stuff going on here. Very neat unit. I just want to do a quick overview for this nation. I also looked at Draugrs just because I thought they were interesting. I think it was like 10 gold and you make 6 of them. But they have chill 3 auras, which is interesting. Maybe going cold 3 or whatever you're doing could be a possibility there. So it takes about 3 gems to turn each of the Einhirs into the Stormforged Einhir, and then it also takes 3 gems to turn the Osmeg into the Stormforged, but you have to have 5 Einhir or Osmeg in the province to start this, and then you can only do this once per province, so keep that in mind. Pretty cool units though. I really like them. I think this would be a really fun nation to play. I'm glad Zan is playing them. I think they're going to be really cool to see. It's quite interesting to see that not only do you can play on the like ethereal ghost side, but you can also play on like a very heavy armored unit side as well, depending on what you're throwing at them. So the opponent has to kind of play both roles at that point. So very interesting. Hope you guys enjoyed the short little overview we have here. Tried to make it real fast. I know it's pretty late at night for me. I didn't want to spend too much time on it, but I did want to show you those sacreds because you would be seeing a lot of them. And then, like, as far as Trilix and Alar went, you wouldn't be seeing their stuff till late game. So, figured these guys you'd be seeing a lot sooner. And these guys, I mean, they're strong. I think they're pretty good. Maybe a little slow to get going, but once you do get going and start a decent amount of sacred production, I mean, this is just going to grow exponentially. So we are making 1, 2, 3, 4 sacreds a turn. And then, I mean, every turn after that, we can be making. So this is going to turn it into 5. But then next turn, it's going to go up to 7. But it's going to be very expensive. That's the only downside. But like I said, going to grow exponentially just due to that, as long as you have the gold to pay for it. and then next turn will go up to 8, then 9, 10. I mean, making that many sacreds a turn, I mean, depending on what your bless is, of course, I mean, that's a lot. It really is. And then being able to turn them into these very, very, very strong two-handed axe units that deal tons of damage, or keeping them as ghosts that are super killy. It's up to you. And then you'll randomly get a size 3 unit like the Osmeg here. So pretty cool. I think it'll be a lot of fun. I know you guys will enjoy watching. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one, guys. Bye.